All right, now gate 3 starts. So gate 3 is even more difficult than gate 2. The reason why is she teleports everywhere. At the beginning, she does a little bit of Rasengan attack, and I get hit by it. Because I didn't even get to do anything there. So I transform here, I get behind them. This is an attack that she's going to stay here for a while. Now, you're gonna see this attack a lot. You know how she's gathering the orb energy here? So orb energy glows up like this, and then it's going to glow up twice, like that. It gets bigger, right? That means it's outside safe. This particular animation is very long. So you're landing all the stuff, and I knew it was inside safe, so I'm staying still. You notice all the guys are trying to run away, but I use my awakening just to face tank it, because I have a shield on. Some people don't know it's inside safe, outside safe. I knew it was outside safe, right? So when they see the warning sign, they move away, right? People react to it after the warning sign happens. You're already too late by then. It's important if you do the raid enough, there's always hints to figure out what the pattern is. So I just stayed, and I just spacebar to cancel it because I'm shielded. Like, so the shield's gonna go away anyway, so I'm gonna play aggressive. Press the spacebar to not get knocked off, and I get more hits off. So this is another outside safe pattern. So this was the teleportation that I showed you here. Right? She teleported, she appeared. She's going to be stationary for a very long time. So check this out. Because this is inside safe, and the longer you're outside, you're going to get more stacks. Right? And then what she did was she chose someone, and then she's going to turn her head around. Yep. So you notice what I did there, right? So she teleported. Okay, she's gonna appear here, so I'm just gonna brutal impact to her face. But I did it a little too late because this is a DR damage. And also at the same time, doing damage here is okay because you're doing a mechanic anyway. The skill's gonna come back. Squeeze that DPS in. So in this mechanic, what you're supposed to do is rotate counterclockwise to negate the elemental attack. This is going to be explained in detail on the Kayangel Guide in the future, but just think of it as everyone needs to rotate it counterclockwise once at a time. And look what I'm doing here. I'm building meter. Why are we building meter? Is because when you're doing mechanics or when a boss is at DR phase, any meter gain classes should gain meter. That is like a bread and butter to play better. Whenever you can, you always build meter so that you're always ready to do your best DPS as soon as it happens. So the red buff is the correct answer for this. And I'm ready to transform, right? But I'm not going to transform here because I know there's going to be a spacebar mechanic right after. Right. See? So this is a spacebar mechanic. It usually happens when you have enough DPS to push. She goes mechanic by mechanic because the spacebar mechanic is time-based, and the major mechanic that we just saw is HP bar based, just like the blue meteor versus the yellow meteor. All you need to do is free yourself when the blast is black, like this. And then as soon as that is finished, I use my brutal impact, everything. So this particular one it's aimed at you like Descaler laser, about 2. And as soon as I notice my laser is gone, I start doing my bloodlust there to land it back. So I land all my skills in perfectly, and some of the normal attacks as well. So from this point, when she teleports, what she usually does is she backsteps and does a tri-laser. That's one of the patterns that she often does, and I knew that was going to be the pattern, so I'm moving backwards already, like that, so that I can reposition myself to not get pushed and build my meter accordingly. And I use my ground smash first because ground smash is generally safer to cast because you have super armor. And then this one is a gravity pull, where you know how the warning sign is very, very slow? You have enough time to dodge, right? But afterwards, so someone got hit there, so she kind of get, this is a reverse gravity attack, right? I go inside and do DPS, because this doesn't hurt you as much, the aftershock does. So you see how she does an aftershock afterwards? As long as you're outside before the aftershock, you're fine. So most people can go in and do DPS and just go outside afterwards. And then I transformed there doing the bloodlust to land it in. But I didn't do it fast enough. So this version is the inside safe version. So remember I told you that this is the outside safe version? You notice she's gathering the energy and then it pops fast. That means it's inside safe. That's why I'm keep doing DPS, because I knew it was going to be inside safe. Okay? So she teleports again. This is a counter mech where the counter is going to appear and your cooldown is resetted afterwards. Normal mode only have 3 counters, but the hard mode have 6 counters. It's a triangle and a reverse triangle and then a triangle or backwards. So what most people do is they counter and then they spin clockwise or counterclockwise. So you notice me here, I'm doing this counter. You always wait for the blue. And I spacebar in right away to land some of my skills in to gain some meter like this. Because why? Because I move up, I counter him, the cooldown's reset, right? So I decide to use the skill earlier to get some meter gain, and then I counter afterwards to reset the cooldown to make it efficient. And then you stagger him afterwards. And when the stagger is done, I transform right away and then dish out all my DPS skills, right? Because she's stunned. We've got the Bloodlust there, got the Brutal Impact there, got the Volcano Eruption there, and then she's going to teleport away. Miss my Furious Claw there, but that's okay. And then my second Guillotine in. And I keep auto-attacking, because everything is in cooldown. Okay. Alright. So she teleports again, and she's doing the final mechanic. So final mechanic is super simple. She makes 3 lines, and she makes a bunch of orbs according with it, right? All you need to do is kill the element that is stronger than the ring. So what is green weak against? It's red, right? Fire, right? What's blue weak against? It's green. It's like Pokemon, right? And what's fire weak against? It's blue. So all you need to do is kill reds here, and then greens, and then blues. So you see me killing it here, and then you see killing this one here, and then you see killing me this one there, right? And then everyone just does it. It's there's 2 here, a 4 here, and then a 4 here. It's 2, 4, 4. If you kill the wrong one, or if you don't kill the right one, you need to do it again. Okay, so she's doing the teleport again. Now, another tip is, after this explosion, she always appear in the middle. So you can actually precast your stuff, and then it's going to land in the middle. So she's doing that backstep. So as soon as I knew that she was doing the backstep laser, I spacebar to position myself. And then kill him up with the guillotine, right? I think I got MVP here too. Just like I said, I think I got MVP here too. Because I knew I was hitting way more than everyone else did. The uptime was way higher than everyone else. Not sure. I think the uptime was it was 37. Now, going to 4th gate. So 4th gate is a little bit when you're new to it, you're gonna have a very hard time because he zooms around everyone like Tien, and he also teleports like the 3rd gate. And there's a special mechanic where you need to have a buff at a certain point. What Lario does in the gate 4 is he always does a mirror mechanic when he teleports away. So in this case, he chooses a target after he looks at a certain character. So he looked at either me or the bard, right? If the target is the bard, I said I was going to use my full rotations on him. So if you look at from the start again, I need to gain the meter, right? So I'm gonna gain the meter here, meter, and I knew he was gonna teleport away and then do the mirror mechanic, right? And the 2 thing I need to check, right? Is it me or the bard? Because he looked at me and the bard at once. Because he rotated 12 o'clock. But it looked like the bard was over here, right? So he looked like he was dashing towards bard. That's the aggro indicator. If he looks at you and dash away, that you're the aggro for it. Okay? But since I didn't know, I double checked it. If I was the aggro, I would have never rotated my skills. So you see me rotating all my skills. Now here, the reason why I used the Bloodlust here is because he's using another pattern. Because sometimes when he reaches 180, under 180, he just phases right away. And then the skills won't land, right? When he faces away, this is a dodging pattern. So most people don't know this Nineveh over here. It blocked it, man. So you dodge the line down here. And then most people are walking around everywhere, which I don't understand. All you need to do is stand around this ring. Because the safe spot is going to be either in this ring, or this ring, or the outside ring. It's all spacebar range. So as long as you stay in the middle, you can never get hit. So I stand right here. See, it's this ring, or the outside ring, right? So I just stand still like this. And then I go back to the position again. The line's gonna be under my feet. I just walk away. Now, everyone walked away. This is to force the aggro. So I decided to get the aggro for the mirror, right? He turns around, right? He turns around to me. He dashed backwards. That means the mirror is going to be aggro to me. And what do? I dash toward the 11 o'clock position to activate this orb. So this orb is very important to activate because when he teleports like this, you see this mirror here? I'm rotating the mirror to the left side on purpose to activate this orb. You need to destroy the orb when it's activated to receive a buff to negate his 99% DR. So if you don't have this particular light buff, you have 99% damage. You do 99% less damage. That's the universal mechanic that he has here, right? And at the same time, he's going to fire his laser, right? So I aimed the laser on purpose to land it on the orb to get it myself as well. So this is called a hammer attack. So there's a way to actually identify hammer attack. So what you do is when he dashes away, if he dashes forward about a middle distance like that, he usually does a special pattern. And when special patterns do not come out for a while, this is time based. So when you go to a phase afterwards, and if you haven't seen a special pattern before, which is usually hammer, there's a bow, there's a scythe, etc., all that stuff. When he dashed forward like that, most people get hit by the hammer attack because he chases them. For example, what do you do sometimes here? Oh, I'm gonna use my volcanic eruption to gap close him. What happens if you use volcanic eruption to gap close? You're gonna get hit by his hammer pattern, right? And why didn't I use it? Because I knew it was the hammer pattern. This stuff is very important for you to have a higher clear rate. Okay? So when he dashes somewhere, a golden rule is don't chase the boss. A lot of people still chase the boss for some reason for a better uptime, but a better uptime doesn't mean chasing the boss as fast as you can. You see what he does, and you land it after you achieve a safe position. And then afterwards here, in this case, this is a pattern where he does a ring explosion. This is an alternating ring explosion, right? So it alternates from here, and then the ring explosion is gonna alternate on the inner ring. So I use my Bloodlust there. Why do I use my Bloodlust there? And the reason why is because the ring's gonna explode here now. So I'm just face tanking it because I have super armor during Bloodlust, right? And then I move backward, and then I move away. All this thing is gone, and obviously the shield's there because this is a #1 awakening timing for supports. You should always have awakening here. If you don't, that's okay. But this is a very good time to use your awakening here because most people do get hit. And then I'm inside here, right? And then everyone's getting hit. But the reason why I stayed there is because the bottom side is going to create an explosion, these yellow rings. And I use the ground smash to get the meter while not getting knocked off. You see how I'm just staying still. Everyone's knocked off. But the Bard is here because he's using Rhapsody or something, or anything that is closer. Oh, he used a sound vibration. So this one, all you need to do is you fire the laser from the initial position, and then you kind of connect it 4 times to make the laser stronger. So you see this You see this Aeromancer trying to get the laser up, right? So this is the third laser. The third laser glows red. So what happens is sometimes people don't do it the fourth time. They fire the laser at the boss at the third stack. In order for you to prevent that mistake, just make sure that the laser is red. That's the final laser. Because I can't see anybody, right? I can't see what he does. So I don't know which laser is what. So as long as the laser is red, you're safe to actually aim it at Lauriel, which is the boss's name. Alright, and as soon as it's done, he's stunned. I'm gaining my meter back. So this pattern is called the Wi-Fi. If he backsteps like that, right? He will do a slash, and then the wave will reach all the way to the end. This way. So, just like that. So whenever you see backdashes, just like that, and you think it's going to be the Wi-Fi, then it is a good idea to chase and go to his back, because everyone needs to go to his back as soon as you see the Wi-Fi. And then everything can land here, because this is a very long pattern. So Wi-Fi is a very good pattern to DPS. So if you're not confident on DPSing against this boss, just DPS out all the Wi-Fi patterns. That's why a long time ago when we were playing this particular raid, when this was the latest raid, I kept calling out Wi-Fi's. The reason why is because I know what Wi-Fi pattern is. So if you identify what Wi-Fi pattern is, that is your number one DPS pattern that you should be looking out for, because he does it very often. So also another important thing is every pattern. Look at what he does. He always dashes forward, right? He always dashes forward, or he always dashes backwards. You know where he kind of ducks in and then flies away, flies to a different direction? That's always a special pattern. It looks different. So this usually helps. When I used to do proc parties, right? I kind of look at the animation of the guy, of the boss, to see what he does. Like, you know, when we're done with the prog, and then it's like the next day. When you look at VODs, right? When you look at the when you replay yourself playing, if you look at the boss's animation, when he dashes forward, he turns around, right? And then he has his hands up like that, and he kind of flies it away. Usually this is the orbs, and usually this is a safe pattern to DPS on. So if you notice more patterns that are safe to DPS, you will position much faster, and then you will land more skills much easier time. So that's very important. If you want to get better, if you want to get better at DPSing. And afterwards, when a certain time has passed, another special pattern happens, right? Special patterns based off of time. So if you have a feeling that like, hey, I haven't seen a special pattern in a while, maybe it's a special pattern time. So this line thing here is sometimes he fires a laser and it takes your stacks away. So I have no buffs now. So he's going to be taking 99% less damage. So what most people do is, since none of us have buffs, this is the egg, right? This is the jewel. We see the ring explosion, and then we kind of space bar in. And then after the next ring explosion, we go down to get the orb again. See, look at that. So you see how he does a little duck? He spins around, and then he does a duck, and then he slashes. Special pattern, he doesn't do this spin. And when he slashes his sword, this is linear, right? If this is linear, it's a star-shaped explosion. If this is a circle, it's a donut explosion, right? So this is, he fired it in a line. That means it's a star. So your back is not safe. Therefore, you have to stand around here or here to do the back DPS. So this mechanic is the 100 line mechanic. You will have to be in the middle, and then everything will explode. If you're outside, you will die immediately. And as the wave kind of flashes by, you will see these white orbs, and then you see a black orbs, correct? You need to get 5 of these. 5 of these white orbs. If you eat a black orb by accident, the stack decreases. So let's say you eat 4 white orbs and eat a black one by accident, it goes to 3. So you need to get 2 more. Okay? So you see me walking around, and every time you eat a white orb, right? Every time you need a white orb, there's a sonar, right? A sonar will fire. And the reason why I auto attack here is what? Is to aim the sonar at the orb. So I can know which one's real or not. So I notified that, you know, oh, I shined it on it. There's 3 white orbs that are real. So I'm gonna go get them. Boom, 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 right? And then I do the sonar again. This was a black one, right? If I take it, I would have got stunned. When you're gathering the orbs, the perfect timing to figure out is this. When the thing starts, the rings will explode twice. So you notice this red rings? It will go boom, right? And then the second ring will explode, boom, right? And then the shadows the mechanic will start. So as long as you know that the mechanic's gonna start after the second explosion, you're okay to go around trying to get as many orbs as you can. So the shadows here and the shadows on the other side. So I'm walking around. So in this particular mechanic, all you need to do is stand inside the shadow. If you're standing outside, you will get burned immediately. That's why the joke is you get sunburned, right? You can tell which way the shadow will spawn by at the very beginning. So you see this ray of light coming out? 1. So it's 9 and then 12. So 12 is hard to see because it's behind the boss, right? So most people, that's why the raid leader kind of calls it afterwards, or some people ping it, or you can type it as well. So we had the 9 o'clock position to hide under the shadow, but you don't actually need to see this. The reason why is because there's a cheat spot. All you need to do is stand on the center. If you stand on the center, you don't get hit by the rings at all. And then you have enough time to go to every single spot in the game, in this mechanic. So if you gather your 5 orbs, you can just stand in the middle. And then find your spot and then go. I actually didn't know what the second spot was. Another Wi-Fi pattern. Good pattern to DPS on, right? I gap close with a volcanic eruption. And then I use brutal impact because this is a long pattern, right? So these kind of projectile patterns are all long. You're very safe to do at least 1 or 2 skills in. Right? Boom. So this is a lightning attack where a lightning will appear under your feet. Right? But I stayed there, I spacebar away, and most people do DPS here. But what my plan was there was use the ground smash to use the super armor and then gain a little bit of meter afterwards because my meter was about to finish. All right, and this is an arrow pattern. So this arrow pattern also is you have a line on your feet, and it spawns sometimes in a thing. So as this spawns, the arrows will consistently come down, and the more stacks you get, the more damage you'll get. And he's going to periodically aim at someone and fire his arrows. This is also a DPS timing, and also a very good pattern to use your support shield on. Okay. So over here, what I'm trying to do is I'm trying to find an empty spot, just trying to do some DPS there, right? I use my awakening there. So this is a bad idea, by the way. I don't even have a support shield, right? I don't even have a support shield. I got a bunch of stacks, and I'm actually not overgeared either. I'm only 1592. Usually I use the pot here, but even if I use the pot and the arrows fired at me, I would have died. But I used this space bar and I got it away. But that's when called DPS Goblino. That's what DPS Goblino is. You take too much risk. Okay, so this mechanic is it's like a Vikas where only you see a certain thing and other players see different things. So this is the fake boss, or fake or real boss actually. And then you have a pillar, a regular red pillar, and then you have a pillar with a rune symbol on it. So all you need to do is ping the pillar with the rune symbol. All right, if I ping the pillar with the rune symbol, if I see this guy's ping, that's the pillar with the rune symbol. That means this is the real copy and this is fake. Right? And this is fake as well. And then you notice there's 3 rune symbols pillar over here. So I ping all 3 of them. It's exactly like the Vikas mech. And since I know what the real one is, all you need to do is go in front of him and stagger him. And the stagger meter is very, very small. One wild stomp is gonna finish it. One wild stomp, done. Very, very weak. And then you just need to come to the middle. And being in the middle is important. So check this out. When this mechanic finishes, he will be at DR. And what do you do when you're at DR? You build meter. See, look at me building meter here. See, now I got all the meters up. All I need to do is land my flash blade and wild stomp. But I noticed here, look at this. Why is my DPS so low? Right? That's because I didn't have the buff. No one has the buff right now. The buff ran out. And in order for you to get the buff, you gotta get at the one at 3 o'clock and then one at 6 o'clock. So I stopped DPSing because it would be a waste of a skill. See? So from here, I kind of go to the right side, get the buff first. Get the buff first. So this is the shadow thing. And the way to figure out is this light orb again. So the light pillar appears to indicate where the safe spot is going to be on the rune symbols, on the clock position. So this is 5 o'clock. So the 5 o'clock shadows are going to be there. Right? And you want to hold your right click here and then kind of move around because he pulls you in. And sometimes kind of in a buggy situation, he pulls you in too far to get outside the place and then you get burnt to death. So if you're scared by this, it's good to time stop here too. Right? So you notice I'm like moving like this. It's because I don't want it to bug. And afterwards, what's important is he aims at one person and fires a laser. And by the time I'm walking here and I'm looking at him, oh, he's aggro to me. That means I stand still and then spacebar afterwards. You don't walk around all the way and try to back attack him. That's called trolling, okay? If you think the boss is aggro to you, if you're an entropy class, you don't walk around to reach his back because he's going to turn around and fire the laser and kill somebody, okay? That happens so often. That happens so often. I'm pretty sure when you guys play this Guardian raid called Hanamatan, some people keep spinning his head around, right? That's because the entropy class needs to hit his back, but the boss is aggro to him. You wait until the pattern is finished. Look at that. You have to bait the pattern first, and then you space bar away, and then you do your DPS. That is very, very important for all entropy classes. If the boss is aggro to you, you never try to walk behind him because you're never going to reach it. He will always turn around. Okay, so this is another special pattern called the Scythe pattern. So the Scythe pattern, what he does is if you get hit by this Scythe, you get rooted, and then afterwards you get hit by the bonus attack, a follow-up attack. This is also another like a DPS opportunity, but it's very difficult. And then this pattern is the rooting pattern, where if you get hit 1, 2, 3 times, you get more damage, and then what's it call it? And then you'll be rooted for a set amount of time. What people usually do in a party is you throw 2 fire bombs to free yourself immediately. But I don't. The party mates we in a miscommunication because I had firebomb, but the gunslinger is supposed to have a firebomb, but I was the only one trying to do the DPS here, right? And then I threw the firebomb, but there was only 1 firebomb, right? So I was about to get killed, but the gunslinger saved me afterwards. Now, in this particular situation, I just decided to use time stop here, right? Very good idea just to use it. And then he does the laser because we're in a dangerous situation where there's only 2 people alive for some reason. Time stop is just more it's more safe here. That's what I think. And then we just gets finished afterwards. Yeah, and then that was 43%. So this was 1592. This was against two 1600 plus. For all that stuff that I just told you, that's how you That's how you do more DPS than Hitmasters. Land all the skills forehead, but I taught you guys all the thought process of what I had from gate 1 to 4, right? So if you guys like it, we'll probably have more of these sessions if you guys want. For support and Hitmaster point of view as well, because Hitmaster is going to be very much more simple, or a gunslinger point of view. There's a bunch of stuff since I have a bunch of characters. So hope this helped you guys, and I am going to end it here, okay? All right, guys. Thank you guys. Bye-bye.